Well, I was 24, so it must have been 1971. No, 72. Springtime, March, April. Beautiful spring, sunshine, campus, lovely park to be in. A beautiful old, was it, not sure, Georgian house, but no, older, very high, magnificent ceilings. It was going to be used as a conference centre. They were sort of waiting till that project took off, and temporarily used as a sort of lounge that you could go across to the house up on the hill above the lake in the campus country. Lovely lawns, gardens. I graduated spiritually. I put being an international economist behind me. I'd chosen to apply and was down to start in May. Traineeship in social work, just locally. Just wanted to do a personal, worthwhile job, not a dazzling, impressive, competitive, worldly setup. And I'd set aside my desire for someone I was in love with, who was in love with someone else, and I thought, well, that's the best thing then, that she be with him. That's what she needs. I was writing poetry. Been given a book, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda. Jabba gave it to me, said someone gave this to me. It's not really my book, but I think it might suit you. Not sure why you knew that, because I didn't know him at all well. I was into meditation. Each end of day I would go to the quiet room in the economics department, which nobody else used, just about me only, I think. Smallish room, but I just finished the end of the day thinking through the day carefully. You would say spiritually with God, although I didn't identify it as such. And of course, now the book I was reading was, well, actually all the fascinating people that Paramhansa had known in his life, saints and sages and so on, miracle men, and all in relationship to God, you see, spiritual things. A Hindu perspective, but not overly so, more descriptive of than selling something, He felt very much that the West had much to offer the East, and the East, spiritually speaking, had much to offer the West. And so he was the first yogi to go to America and stay there, as far as we know. And amazing ministry there. Yeah, I mean, miraculous ministry, and huge crowds and audiences. Very much a Los Angeles. Everything under the sun goes to Los Angeles, doesn't it? Because it's City of the Angels, isn't it? What do you expect? Lovely climate too. And one day I was just in the morning, late morning, been in the house, within a house, nice posh house I was telling you about. and I was walking by the path, higher path from the lake, towards the car parks. Beautiful day. I realised I wanted God to exist. Wow, what's happened to you, Marshall? You want God to exist? You never thought of that before, did you? I was transcendent. Didn't come down for about 10 days. I mean, spiritually within, utterly preoccupied with the thought of God. I don't mean I proved God to exist, but just full of the new experience of thinking of God. Absolute blessing. Yeah. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Yes, I must tell you of something that, I think I may have mentioned it in my recordings, but the other day, I wondered, what was this goodness, presence, happiness with me? I was just so aware of it one morning. And I mean, this is very recently, you know. And I realised it's the loveliness of God. I occasionally wondered, you know the way God seems to appear to people in whatever form they're expecting. You know, if it's Christian, it's got to be Jesus. If it's, I don't know, if you're Hindu, it's going to be Krishna, you know. I thought, I don't think any of those would really quite be appropriate for me. Do I need to see a shining light? No, I'm much too personal for that. Much too human. I don't want just some objective experience. And I realise now in hindsight, what you need, Marshall, is God to come to you, your Heavenly Dad, in His loveliness, His goodness, just in His not overwhelming love, but the loveliness of His self. I was going to say with you, but there, here, yes, here, permeating your conscious being. I don't know how to say it, except to say His loveliness. Just loveliness. Love you, Dad. Thank you.